After 22 years of absolute power, after fear, loyalty, and iron-fisted rule, Yahya Jammeh left the Gambia in January 2017, not by choice, but by force of circumstance. What happened to him after he boarded that plane? Where does he live? How does he live? And what has his life become? Far from the country he once controlled. Tonight, we take you inside the hidden, quiet exile of Yahya Jammeh in Equatorial Guinea in this maiden edition of Bitilo In Depth. My name is Mfali Fadera. The story begins on the night of December 1st, 2016. Gambians shocked the world. They voted out a president who had ruled for over 2 decades. And then something even more shocking happened. Jammeh considered defeat. He congratulated Adama Barrow. He smiled. He said Allah guided him.
I hereby take this opportunity to congratulate Mr. Adama Barrow.
But that peace lasted only a week. In a dramatic reversal, he rejected the results. He pushed the country to the edge of a constitutional disaster.
And thereby annulling the elections.
ECOWAS responded with unmistakable force. Troops gathered at the border, warships positioned off the coast, diplomacy intensified. Jammeh was facing a choice: live peacefully or be removed. On January 21st, he bowed to pressure. He boarded a plane, and for the first time since 1994, the Gambia would continue without him. His destination was not chosen at random. After leaving Banjul for Conakry, Jammeh was flown to Equatorial Guinea, a small oil-rich Central African nation ruled by another long-standing leader, Teodoro Obiang Mbaso. Obiang offered what no other country openly would: a safe haven. But Jammeh was not taken to the capital, Malabo. He was taken deep inland to Mongomo, the president's birthplace, his stronghold, and one of the most tightly controlled regions in the country. Lost forests, secluded roads, presidential villas hidden behind high walls, military loyalty everywhere. If Jammeh was going to disappear from the public eye, this was the perfect place. Almost immediately, Jammeh settled into a life that is both comfortable and confined. Sources describe a large, heavily guarded villa, the kind reserved for visiting heads of state. But multiple investigations, including a detailed report in Foreign Policy, point to something even more specific. Jammeh is believed to be living in one of President Obiang's personal palaces in Mongomo. According to human rights lawyer Tutu Alicante of EG Justice, Obiang has 3 places in Mongomo, all big, gaudy-looking places like Saddam Hussein had. We have heard from credible contacts that Jammeh is in one of them. A diplomat in Malabo independently confirmed that Jammeh is housed in an Obiang-owned villa located between Oyala and Mongomo, further reinforcing that his exile is under Obiang's direct protection. These places are vast, fortress-like structures, lavish, heavily guarded, and completely sealed off from the public. It is here, behind tall walls and iron gates, that Yahya Jammeh lives today. Behind those gates, domestic staff, protocol officers, drivers, and round-the-clock security. A wall within a wall, isolated from ordinary Equatorial Guinean life, yet shielded from any danger. Inside Mongomo, he can move, he can visit farms, he can spend time within Obiang's inner circle. And according to Zone Afrique, Jammeh even requested a farmland for himself, a retirement dream he once hoped to pursue in Kanilai. Sources say Obiang's family granted him land in Moka Valley, a picturesque stretch of mountains and waterfalls where the ruling elite already owned large estates. An unauthenticated photo circulated in the past showing Jammeh and Obiang admiring what appears to be Jammeh's new farm, a quiet reminder that their relationship stretches back years, including a time when both men owned mansions side by side in Potomac, Maryland, United States. But beyond Mongomo, the wall is closed. For 8 years, Yahya Jammeh has never left Equatorial Guinea. Not once, not for travel, not for medical care, not for politics. He knows the truth clearly. The moment he steps outside Equatorial Guinea, he becomes vulnerable to arrest, to prosecution, to the mounting legal pressure building across Africa and beyond. Jammeh does not appear at public events. There are no speeches in Equatorial Guinea, no interviews, no rallies. But back home in the Gambia, his voice still echoes. From his villa, he sends phone messages, voice notes, and audio speeches to APRC supporters, especially during election seasons. Limited, distant influence, but influence nonetheless. His exile is not a tomb, it is a controlled silence. What about Jammeh's family? Zainab Jammeh, his Moroccan-born wife, is not believed to live permanently with him in Mongomo. Reports place her between Morocco, the United States, and other locations where she maintains private connections. Their children also live and study abroad. This leaves Yahya Jammeh, once surrounded by the machinery of a state, now living mostly alone, with security officers and staff replacing the presence of family. A life of comfort, yes, but also a life of distance. Today, the picture is clear. Yahya Jammeh lives in a protected compound, guarded day and night, provided for by one of Africa's longest-serving rulers. He is not poor, he is not unsafe, he is not forgotten, but he is not free. He lives in a golden cage, comfortable, protected and sheltered, but confined to a single country, dependent on a single man, and cut off from the world he once dominated. As legal and political pressure builds through the TRRC findings and calls for a special court, his exile becomes less a sanctuary and more a waiting room for history, for justice, and for time itself to decide the final chapter of Yahya Jammeh's story.
You're listening to Bitilo with Mfali Fadera.